Anxiety does not end when life becomes safe. It ends when you stop doing one specific thing, and almost nobody talks about it. You've tried calming techniques, breathing exercises, affirmations, distraction, motivation, positive thinking, and yet, the anxiety keeps returning. Not because you're broken, but because you're unknowingly feeding it. Today, we're going to talk about the one behavior that keeps anxiety alive and what happens when you finally stop. Stay with me, because this will change how you relate to your own mind. Before we go deeper, if you're serious about mastering your internal world and not letting anxiety dictate your life, subscribe now and like the video. On this channel, we build discipline over emotion, structure over chaos, reality over rumination, and that changes everything. Part 1. The hidden habit that feeds anxiety. Anxiety ends when you stop trying to control it. Let that sit for a second. Most people think anxiety is the problem, but anxiety is not the real enemy. The real problem is the constant attempt to eliminate, suppress, fix, or outthink it. You wake up with tightness in your chest. Immediately, your mind asks, "Why do I feel like this? What's wrong? How do I make it go away?" And in that moment, you begin fighting your own nervous system. The irony, the fight, is what keeps it alive. Anxiety is a survival signal. It's uncomfortable. It's loud. It's persistent, but it is not dangerous. When you treat it like an emergency, your brain upgrades it to one. Part 2. The control trap. Psychologists have studied this pattern for decades. In acceptance and commitment therapy, developed by Stephen C. Hayes, they discovered something powerful. The more you try to control internal experiences, thoughts, feelings, sensations, the stronger they become. Think about this. If I tell you right now, do not think about a white bear, what happens? The white bear becomes louder in your mind. Anxiety works the same way. When you say, "I must not feel anxious. This has to stop. I need to calm down right now," your brain hears danger, threat. Something is wrong. And it increases the alarm, not to hurt you, but to protect you. Part 3. Why anxiety feels so personal. Anxiety convinces you it means something about you. It whispers, "You're weak. You can't handle this. Something is broken." But anxiety is not a character flaw. It's not a moral failure. It's not a sign you're incapable. It's a nervous system doing its job too well. Modern life overstimulates that system. Constant comparison, uncertainty, information overload, performance pressure. Your brain evolved to survive predators, not emails, not social media, not future projections. Yet here you are, expecting yourself to feel calm in a world that never stops. Be gentle with yourself. Your body is not your enemy. Part 4. The shift. Stop resisting. Here is where everything changes. Anxiety begins to lose power when you stop trying to remove it, not when you defeat it, not when you overpower it, not when you outthink it. When you allow it, that does not mean you like it. It means you stop negotiating with it. Instead of, "How do I make this go away?" you ask, "Can I allow this to be here while I continue living?" This is emotional maturity, and it is powerful. There's a concept from Shoma Morita, a Japanese psychiatrist who developed Morita therapy. He observed something profound. People suffered less when they stopped trying to eliminate their feelings and instead focused on purposeful action. Feelings fluctuate. Action stabilizes. Anxiety can ride in the passenger seat, but it doesn't get to drive. Part 5. What happens when you stop fighting? When you stop fighting anxiety, 3 things begin to happen. 1. The intensity decreases, not instantly, but gradually, because the secondary fear disappears. It's often not the anxiety itself that overwhelms you. It's the fear of the anxiety. When that fear dissolves, the sensation softens. 2. You regain self-trust. Every time you experience anxiety and continue acting anyway, you send your brain a new message. I can handle this. Not because you feel fearless, but because you moved forward despite fear. That builds quiet confidence. 3. your world expands again. Avoidance shrinks life. You skip events, conversations, opportunities, not because you don't want them, but because you want certainty first. The problem? Certainty never comes first. Action does. Part 6. The discipline of allowance. This is where most people misunderstand. Allowing anxiety is not passive. It is disciplined. And I want to slow this down, because this is the turning point. This is the moment where someone with anxiety either keeps negotiating with fear or finally begins to free themselves. Allowance is not weakness. It is not giving up. It is not surrendering your standards. It is not saying, "This is my life now. I guess I'll just suffer." That's not what this is. Allowance is a conscious decision to stop fighting a sensation that cannot harm you and start investing your energy into living. It means you feel the tightness, and you still send the email, not because you feel brave, but because you've decided discomfort is not a stop sign. You notice the racing thoughts, and you still go for the walk. Not because your mind is quiet, but because your legs still work. You feel the discomfort, and you still show up to the meeting, to the event, to the conversation, to your own life. This is psychological strength, not emotional suppression. There's a difference, and if you don't understand the difference, you will keep hurting yourself unintentionally. Suppression says, "This must not exist. This feeling is wrong. I need to shut this down." Suppression tightens your body. It holds your breath. It creates internal pressure. Allowance says, "This can exist, and I can still live." Do you hear how different that is? Allowance relaxes your resistance. It doesn't remove the sensation immediately, but it removes the second layer of fear. And that second layer is what keeps anxiety chronic. Let me explain something very clearly. When anxiety shows up, your nervous system is activated. That's the first wave. But when you react with, "This is bad. This is dangerous. I can't handle this," you create a second wave fear of the anxiety itself. And that second wave is usually stronger than the first. The discipline of allowance interrupts that second wave. It sounds like this internally. My chest is tight, okay. My thoughts are loud, okay. I feel shaky, okay. No drama. No catastrophic story. No emergency response. Just acknowledgement. And then action. Here's the advisory part, and I need you to hear this carefully. You are not waiting to feel calm before you act. You are acting to teach your brain that calm is not required for movement. That is how rewiring happens. Your brain learns from behavior, not from overthinking. Every time you avoid something because of anxiety, your brain records, "That situation was dangerous. Good thing we escaped." Every time you stay and act anyway, your brain records, "We survived. Maybe this isn't a threat." That is how freedom is built, not in one heroic leap, but in small, repeated acts of allowance. Now let's talk about why this feels so hard. When anxiety rises, your body is flooded with stress hormones. Your heart beats faster, your breathing shifts, your mind scans for danger. It feels urgent. It feels like something must be done immediately. And your instinct says, fix it, escape it, solve it, stop it. Allowance feels counterintuitive because it says, do nothing about the feeling. Do something about your life instead. That takes courage. But understand this, you are not ignoring anxiety. You are depriving it of authority. You're saying, you can be here, but you don't get to run the schedule. That is power. And here's where someone with anxiety needs reassurance. You do not need to eliminate the fear to take the step. You only need to be willing to carry it with you. Think about that. You don't need zero anxiety to walk into that room. You don't need total certainty to make that decision. You don't need a calm heartbeat to speak your mind. You just need willingness. Willingness is stronger than comfort. Let's make this practical. If you're anxious about sending a message, your hand might tremble. Send it anyway. If you're anxious about going outside, your chest might tighten. Step outside anyway. If you're anxious about a conversation, your mind might scream. Speak anyway. Not aggressively, not recklessly. calmly, deliberately, gently. Allowance is quiet bravery. And here's something that will help you take that bold step. Anxiety peaks and falls on its own if you don't interfere with it. Like a wave. If you fight the wave, you exhaust yourself. If you float, it passes. Your body is designed to regulate itself, but when you constantly intervene, checking, analyzing, resisting, you keep the alarm active. Allowance says, I trust my nervous system to settle. That trust might feel fake at first. That's okay. You build trust by acting as if you trust. This is where your freedom begins. Not in a dramatic breakthrough, but in a simple internal shift. I don't need this to stop in order to move. One creates war, the other creates space. And space is where healing happens. Because in space, anxiety is just a sensation, not a dictator, not an identity, not a prophecy, just a temporary experience moving through a very capable human being. You are not fragile. You are conditioned. And conditioning can change, but only when you stop fighting yourself. So if you're waiting for a sign to take that bold step, this is it. Do it anxious. Do it imperfect. Do it with your heart racing. And let your nervous system learn that you are stronger than the alarm. That is the discipline of allowance. And that is where freedom begins. Part 7. Practical application. What to stop doing. If you want anxiety to loosen its grip, stop doing these 3 things. Stop scanning your body constantly. The more you check your heart rate, breathing, tension, the more hyper-aware you become. Let your body regulate itself. Stop Googling every sensation. Reassurance temporarily soothes, but it reinforces doubt. Trust your body more than your fear. Stop waiting to feel ready. Readiness is a myth. You move, then readiness follows. Part 8. The paradox of peace. Peace is not the absence of anxiety. Peace is the absence of resistance to anxiety. There will still be moments, important meetings, difficult conversations, uncertain futures. Your heart may race. That's okay. Let it race. You are not fragile. You are adaptive. When you stop treating anxiety like a catastrophe, it stops behaving like one. Anxiety ends when you stop trying to end it. Read that again. It fades when you stop feeding its urgency. It softens when you stop labeling it as danger. It weakens when you continue living anyway. You don't need to become fearless. You need to become willing. Willing to feel. Willing to act. Willing to move forward imperfectly. That's how you reclaim your life. Not by waiting for calm, but by building strength inside the storm. This is Noetic Liberties. Build discipline, master thought. Own your internal world. And remember, anxiety does not control you. Resistance does. I'll see you in the next video.